Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday here with Longshore McKnight. So glad you have joined us here, whether it's live or later in the day on your schedule. We certainly appreciate that. I am in my studios in Montgomery. Barry, obviously on the road today with Troy basketball. It's like, where's Waldo? Where is Barry today?
It's going to be this way all week. Today and I believe tomorrow, I'm in Jonesboro, Arkansas right now. Troy men's basketball tomorrow night against Arkansas State. And then later in the week, I'll be in Lafayette, Louisiana. We've already had this one question before live with us when we were on the show on Friday out at Stivers Ford Lincoln in Montgomery from way offsides. Jeff, the hat, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Get ready. Way offsides. Jeff says, hey, man, how about setting me up with the hat? It's coming. It is
coming. Yeah, we've got the suits in the corner office taking care of all that type stuff, marketing and promotion. So something we lacked tremendously at our previous stop.
Come on. Does that attitude help anybody there? Please.
So,
it's over. They realize how they realize their mistake. So
you think?
Well,
Barry, yesterday, with the help of some of our viewers and listeners, and we greatly appreciate it, we're going to get to that throughout the program today. I also myself did a little research on Mike Shula and the number of bad losses he had while at Alabama, because I've caught a little grief about, I don't think Mike Shula had a loss as bad as Kalen DeBoer. People didn't seem to like that one.
This is classic Longshore presentation yesterday. I could be wrong. I haven't done the research on it, but I don't think Mike Shula has lost as many games or nearly as many games as badly as Kalen DeBoer did. Now, that's a general statement. Near as many games as badly? Well, how do you quantify near as many games and how do you quantify as badly? But the point is a solid point anyway, even if the research at the time was a little bit thin.
I've watched a lot of Law and Order episodes. It's all about how you present it. It's the verbiage that you use. I've learned that from Jack McCoy, assistant DA. But first of all, one thing that really interests me, I don't know if you have been able to see it. I somehow still have the student rate at the athletic sports website.
You graduated years ago.
2020, actually. 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
How do you get the student rate 6 years later?
I'm not saying anything, and they haven't noticed.
Everybody hush about this, okay? The Athletic at theathletic.com.
Yeah, so I still get the student rate, and I saw this piece, and then I love our viewers and listeners, Barry. They send a lot of stuff that I know they think we'd be interested in. Someone sent this as well. We appreciate it. Bruce Feldman, college football writer, wrote a piece about the SEC's dismal bowl record this season points to a fundamental truth.
It's all true. It's all
money matters. And reading about that, we're going to give you some Cliff's notes and what we've talked about. I mean, it's money is what is changing college football. It has equaled the playing field. Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, name several others. Can't stockpile talent 3 and 4 deep with guys that can beat you. Several examples were pointed out in this story. Jonathan Allen, who played at Alabama, was not a starter originally, is in a game, run some player down. Everybody's going, wow, who's this guy? Why isn't he starting? One of my examples, you got guys after guys after guys that can step up and not miss a beat. You don't have that anymore because these guys want to go play elsewhere. So it has evened the field. It gives you teams like an Indiana, like an Ole Miss, some of the others that made the playoff, others that will in the future. And we've talked about it, Barry. I mean, Alabama fans, SEC fans are going to have to get used to it. The days of going undefeated, beating everybody by 4 touchdowns, just go ahead and making your bowl reservations in early October. Those days are over because the wealth has been spread out. A lot of people don't like it. but a lot of people do because they're getting a taste of what big-time postseason college football is all about. But I got to tell you, Barry, when I hear stories of Texas Tech paying a guy $5 million and putting his picture on a billboard in Times Square, and, man, I'm hearing rumors about other players that Cam Coleman, for one,
Oh, yeah.
$3 million offer from places like Texas Tech. How do you compete? I mean, where's the billionaire that's supplementing the players in Lubbock, the Mark Cubans that are doing what they're doing at Indiana? Where are these people to go around and spread the wealth in the SEC?
There was a graphic yesterday that new Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby, I mentioned him several times yesterday. The deal for him at Texas Tech, he's a Cincinnati transfer, was somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 million, in excess of $5 million. And they pointed out that Shedeur Sanders, who is the starting quarterback in the NFL for the Cleveland Browns, barely in the NFL, sorry, Gunner, but they're in the NFL, $4.6 million. Brendan Sorsby is going to make more as a starting quarterback in college than he will than an actual real starting quarterback in the NFL. To the point John is making, not everybody is going to be able to do that for a starting quarterback. Not everybody is going to be willing to do that with a starting quarterback.
Well, you're right.
That's where the talent starts spreading out a little bit more. Alabama and Georgia can't stockpile all the Jonathan Allens and Josh Jacobses and guys that played at Alabama and whatever that you look at in the NFL, and those guys are studs. And you're thinking, well,
I find it hard to believe. There again, this is just me. I don't know. I could be dead wrong, but I've made some outlandish statements that have had you shaking your head and rolling your eyes, and years later they happen.
Drive me crazy.
But this is what I can't see happening. To me, it's mind-boggling to pick up a newspaper. God, I am sounding old. Can you pick up a newspaper anymore?
Not in Atlanta. The AJC is gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And read Alabama or Auburn, insert whatever team you want, has just paid a quarterback $5 million. I didn't think we'd see a $2 million quarterback, but we have. But $5 million? I mean, how many backups in the NFL make $5 million?
Not many. Not many. Which
I don't see that happening in Tuscaloosa and Auburn. Could be wrong, but there again, then you got the SEC with 16 teams, and they're all loaded. They all got money. I mean, they're making a ton off this TV network deal, so they've got the ability to spend. I mean, just as Alabama and Auburn do, so does Vanderbilt and South Carolina and Kentucky and Missouri.
They do, which is to the SEC's credit. But now the Kansases of the world, you look at the Final Four teams in here, the Oregons of the world, the Texas Techs, and some of those schools, they're able to get to some of those guys that they didn't have a prayer of recruiting out of high school back in the day. A guy would much rather go and compete for a job in the SEC back in the day because he's an SEC kid, his family's close by, he wants to develop and go to the NFL. Now kids are going to Texas Tech for the money,
Here's another one. Could you ever imagine a player at Auburn ends up at Minnesota? I saw that yesterday. One of these wide receivers had hit the portal going to Minnesota. I'm thinking, Minnesota? Yeah. Does the kid know how cold it gets up there? What? So obviously they're paying this young man a handsome amount of money. He doesn't give a damn where they are. I don't care where you are. As long as you're paying me, I'll come. And to your point, the loyalty, Playing for Old State U, forget it. It reminds me of that old goat that called the radio station 20 years ago, bending my ear because I said, these kids don't care about where they're playing. Oh, yes, they do. They grew up wanting to wear the crimson jersey. Yeah, okay, old man, whatever you think.
Yeah, and now we're old men, and we still feel the same way. Look, the Alabama brand, you can look at the latest TV ratings for the Rose Bowl, the Indiana story gate. The Alabama brand is still strong, but they're not the only
numbers yesterday. 23.9 million people watched the Rose Bowl. My response back to him was, oh, great. 23.9 million saw Alabama get their ass kicked by an Indiana team that has been to 3 bowl games. Thanks, Kalen. Oh.
It's the most watched college football playoff game in the 12-team era, which has been a couple of years.
It was a blowout.
I don't know if they averaged, what they averaged. I imagine, I don't know, at the very end, there was still an awful lot of people watching.
So
for
do you
one
think,
reason,
Gary, there were people all across America going, oh boy, look at this. Bama's
another one.
Out.
Oh, look, here's another one. Hey, check it out. It's 38-3 now. This is great. But 23.9 million people. Now, the point is good.
That's why they can
Jason,
play at 4 o'clock on New Year's afternoon, because they have the ratings to be able to kind of pick their time.
Like Jason Jones says, the schools can only pay through revenue share, which is capped at $20.5 million annually for all sports. The TV deals are useless for NIL. That is true. And
but there again, you need a Mark Cuban on your side, or you need this guy in Lubbock, Texas, obviously.
Yes.
That's on your side.
Yes.
Where are those guys here? I mean, I know the yellow fellow's the richest man in Alabama. Is he going to do it? Is he going to supplement Auburn's football team?
If you watch the show Landman, they talk about the oil business nonstop. They talk dollars that are not fathomable in our part of the world. The Texas school should be playing for a natty every year, and I think they will be. Texas Tech, the story with Brendan Sorsby, making $5 million, that was the number one thing, but it also said, and I'm not sure it's believable.
Is it a coincidence, Barry, that one of the characters on Landman wears a Texas Tech hat?
Well, Texas Tech, I mean, they've got a petroleum major. You can major in petroleum science or something like that. So a lot of the oil people come from Texas Tech. The deal with Brendan Sorsby, the reports were, not from him particularly, but that he was, blown away by the facilities at Texas Tech. He was blown away by the culture that Coach McGuire has at Texas Tech, and all of that. He wasn't necessarily blown away by getting shut out 23-0 in their last game, but they do have facilities. They do have a rabid group, not a big group, but a rabid group of supporters and stuff, and that makes a difference too. But the number one thing is the $5 million.
Well, it's to Jason's point. Every team in the SEC's got the same amount of money. Yep. You got to find somebody else, some big dog, that can help you get over that number. And are there enough in this part of the country? Are there enough people willing to do that? Does it get old after a while? Will it get old at Texas Tech? Will it get old in Bloomington, Indiana? Will this continue? Will you have these people doing it? Because there again, you think people are answering Kalen DeBoer's phone call? Hey, we need a little extra help here. Can you help us here? I don't think so. Now, Nick Saban's on the phone. Oh, heck yeah. Tell so-and-so he's going to have to wait. I'll talk to Nick right now, whatever he wants. Is Alex Golish? Are people picking up his Alex? Let me get back to you on that.
Yeah, the transfer portal has been interesting so far. It's not going to last much longer. A little bit more than a week more in the transfer portal, week and a half. And we'll see how it works out. Everybody can't go for the bag. Everybody's not getting offered that kind of money. But what the differences that are made are, the great players, the difference players, are not all stockpiled at one or two schools. They're spread out a little bit. And those really, really good players, like Brendan Sorsby, like Byron Brown, like Hollywood Smothers, that are at, secondary Power 4 schools, those guys will rise to that level. It's just that they're not all in Georgia anymore. They're not all in Tuscaloosa anymore. They're not all at Ohio State. Those are schools that aren't even in the Final Four of the college football playoff, and they used to be there every year.
Yeah, a couple of things there. I mean, does Alabama continue to recruit in California and Ohio and all these other places they were able to go in the Saban era now that, money is such a big factor in a lot of these schools? With Texas Tech spending like they are and making it to the quarterfinals of the college football playoff, does that maybe entice Texas and Texas A&M and SMU and some of these other Texas schools? Well, wait a minute, we can't let Texas Tech be the big dog here in the Lone Star State. We got to start spending and getting some folks in here too. And third, is this just another reason to expand the playoff to maybe further than the Big Ten wanted 24? Do we get to 24 just so we have enough teams that have fan bases that are happy? Hey, at least we made the playoff. Now, we might not be able to spend $5 million on a quarterback, but dadgummit, we made the playoff, and we'll roll the dice when we get there, and maybe we'll go a little further than maybe some of these schools that have paid a lot more for players. I wonder if, we're looking at that as well. Kind of like, well, we better let everybody in because we want as many happy programs as we can give them something to play for, whether they get knocked out in the first round or not.
Blown out or otherwise. There have been more than their fair share of blowouts so far through the course of the college football playoff, and they're not just the group of 5 teams as well. Lots to talk about on the program today. The transfer portal is dominating a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll address all of that. We got our regular Tuesday guests on the show today. Travis Ryer on YouTube. Also, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com. We are underway. John is in the home studio. I'm in Jonesboro, Arkansas. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown." Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 19 minutes past the hour. As we move on, Barry, you mentioned it. I just got to throw this little nugget in there. I'm a little down on Landman this season. I love season 1. Season 2 is dragging out so long. If I see another scene with those 2 women in it jazzercising or at the old folks' home or whatever, I mean, I know they want to put some TNA in that show, but I'm tired of seeing them, tired of seeing the little story about the Mexican girl that's fallen in love with this kid that wears the Texas Tech hat. Give me an oil rig. Give me somebody making some money. Come on. Enough already. It's way too slow this season. I've seen enough of these limbo women. Give me more Billy Bob Thornton and Andy Garcia and Demi Moore hashing out oil deals. That's what that's supposed to be about.
Wait. I don't know anything at all about Landman. Haven't watched a moment of it. But, John, has it really? Man, show me some financial negotiations over, a martini or 2.
Yeah,
I don't want to see those girls bouncing around. Forget that, John.
Well,
really.
I've seen enough.
Has it come to that?
Well, I mean, I know I just turned 62, but
I don't know it.
It was kind of cute and fun and sexy for the first, 6 times I saw it, but now we're in the 26th time. I'm thinking, let's move on. These people add nothing to this series. A little cute, pretty cute faces and curvy hot bodies. Okay, enough already. Let's move on. Maybe I've matured a little bit, Barry.
You've got a lot of friends who are laughing at you right now from all those times in your youth when you and them used to rewind that scene in Caddyshack when Lacey Underall was coming down the slide into the pool at the country club over and over and over again. Now,
no, actually, that was at Ty Webb's house, not the country
club. See what
club.
I'm saying? See what I'm talking about? The slide was blue. He remembers that, Now it's like
also the Basic Instinct with Sharon Stone that got replayed quite a bit as well, I believe.
Now, anyway, Landman, I don't even know what I think it was on what's probably Paramount Plus or something. Love Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, he's good. They drop the F-bomb a lot in that show, so make sure you got the mute button handy. But I just wanted to point that out.
Okay,
So, Barry, I see Auburn has picked up a lot of transfer players from South Florida. I mean, a lot.
Transfer safety
logo because they've received so many players from South Florida.
Safety Fred Gaskin, receiver Jeremiah Koger from South Florida, cornerback Gavin Jenkins, running back Nakai Davenport, tight end Jonathan Eccles, wide receiver Corey Pettigrew, wide receiver Christian Neptune. That sounds like an adult film. Let's see. I don't think I'm missing. Not yet. I mean, those guys have signed. Those guys are not committed or leaning. Those guys have signed. But so far, quarterback Byram Brown, who was in Auburn over the weekend, has not signed. Yeah, I think that's it. Those aren't the only ones. They've also signed. Well, actually, those are the only ones. They've got guys visiting. Florida transfer running back Jacoby Jackson. They did get a signing from Hudson Powell.
Hudson Powell
is a long snapper from Miami of Ohio.
1
year of eligibility remaining. A long snapper hits the transfer portal. How is that? I mean, how do you do that? How do you, hey, I can snap it back for you guys, but I can only do it for 1 year. That's all the eligibility I've got left. Wait a minute. We want to find somebody else who can snap it back. Do you pay for that? What's the market value for
that's a good point.
NIL transfer long snapper?
How much do long snappers make? I'd like to know that.
Let me look at your film of me snapping. Look, I'm just asking. So no Byram Brown yet. He visited over the weekend. I can't say with any certainty, and I do not study the rosters religiously. I can't say with any certainty at all, John, that right now Auburn has on scholarship a quarterback. Anybody?
Well, we'll ask Brian Matthews here in about 8 minutes. No, actually, 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
earlier today, Bear, I did see Alabama. What do you call it? A signee, a commitment?
No, let's see if he's signed yet. It depends,
Yeah.
I mean, they can commit. They got a commitment here from running back Hollywood Smothers. His first name is Dalen, but he goes by Hollywood.
So earlier on the chat, way off sides, Jeff asked the question about how many players have been, I don't know if it was just at Alabama or just collegiately or any type of athlete named Hollywood. Now, there was a basketball player at Alabama, Hollywood Robinson, hit a big three against Florida from Montgomery. Hit a big three against Florida to send Alabama to maybe they won the SEC regular season on that shot, something like that. I can't remember. Then there was Hollywood Henderson for the Cowboys.
From the Dallas Cowboys. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Hollywood Robinson for Alabama was from Jackson, Mississippi. Brian Williams was the Alabama guard from Montgomery. I could be wrong. That was a long time ago, but I thought Hollywood Robinson was from Provine High School.
Well, let us know on the chat. I thought it was from Montgomery, but who knows? I mean,
anyway, that's not
the coaching. That was what, 30 years ago?
30 years ago. So Hollywood Smothers, no relation to Tom or Dick. Yeah, Hollywood Smothers led the ACC in rushing, I think.
NC State. The Phantom was on NC State a couple of times this year.
Yeah,
maybe
it was good. If there's a comparison, I guess he's 5'11", 195. If there's a comparison, kind of a Jahmyr Gibbs kind of guy. I don't know that he's as good a pass catcher or anything, but not a big guy. Runs really well. I've seen him play a few times. He's a good back.
I'm glad you brought up Jahmyr Gibbs. I thought about him last night. Is that the last really good Alabama running back? I've been throwing this out there for about a week now. From Johnny Musso, that's the first running back I can remember watching Alabama as a kid. There's been a great running back forever. Every year they've had one, even during the Mike Shula era. I don't know why we're picking on Shula so much lately. Is Jahmyr Gibbs the last really good running back at Alabama? Who was one after him?
He had somebody with him that was good as well that year. It wasn't just
help me out with that, Jeff.
Gibbs. Golly, we should know that. Anyway,
Tobias, help me out.
That is a good pickup for Alabama. I wonder if Hollywood Williams at Alabama is going to have any difficulties with him over, taking his name, taking his nickname.
How about his number?
This is interesting to me because who's going to block for him? I mean, the money's there. The Alabama brand is there. The exposure for him is there more so than at NC State. I get all that, but there's other things to negotiate besides how much money am I getting? How soon am I going to start? I'd have to be looking around and saying, hey, who's going to be blocking for me?
Well, Barry, maybe with the announcement that Wilkin Formby hit the portal, he went, whoa, I'm in now. Sign me up.
Please don't let Wilkin Formby be the big inheritor of the Kelf Bailey, Deshae Townsend, Bino, what was the guys? Anyway, Anthony Madison. That you guys, Jace McClellan was the one I was thinking about with Jahmyr Gibbs. That now all of a sudden that kid who started every game last year,
Oh,
He didn't have to. They didn't. They could have started somebody else.
Taco Casa or something. I mean, what was up with that?
That guy. It was a starting offensive lineman for Alabama, and the fans act like he was barely able to put one foot in front of each other out there. Let's not do that, Bama fans.
It goes without saying, it's tough to be a player at the University of Alabama because if you don't perform and you slip up a time or two, Dolly Madison, perfect example.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. What I think one of our old time coaches, man, that guy's been burned more than folks at the burn unit at UAB or something. I mean, that guy.
Your own guys, your own people, within Formby this. And oh my gosh, what was the other one? It's just,
this summer we ought to go
turn
through
on your own better than anybody.
This summer we should go through all the former Bama players that people couldn't wait for them to get rid of.
Yeah.
And have lived in infamy with some nickname that a fan put on them, like Dolly Madison. Who thinks is Dolly Madison still a company anymore?
You can get ho-hos or something. Way offsides, Jeff comes up with, don't forget about Michael French Fried Fagan. That's not right. That's a little obscure. When we come back, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
Get your coolers ready, because we have big news. Superior is now alcohol-free. Michelob Ultra Zero. Zero alcohol, ultra smooth taste, just 29 calories. Hear that? That's the sound of a game changing. Stay in the game with Michelob Ultra Zero.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Zero. Alcohol-free malt beverage, St. Louis, Missouri. 29 calories, 6.5 grams carbohydrates. Less than 1 gram protein and 0 grams fat per 12 fluid ounces.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the River region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the River region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 27 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday. You know what we do during this time slot? Our man Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, hops on with us. We always enjoy him being with us. Brian, how's it going today?
It's going pretty good. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Always elevates the tone of this, adds a little to the collective IQ of the screen here, which
I don't know about that.
It's faint praise, but we do mean it. All right, first off, one question already on our chat line. First thing this morning, ask Brian why Byron Brown hasn't committed to Auburn yet.
I don't know for sure, but I think they're working out the finer details there. I don't think there's an issue, but we'll see. It's not done until it's done, but I'd be surprised if it doesn't happen sometime today. So,
okay,
I don't have any real news there. I'm just I'm expecting things to get moving here soon.
But you haven't seen any hang-ups or any issues or
nothing major,
or anything like that. How would you term the transfer portal to this point for Auburn since it opened? Good, bad, surprised? What's the
slow burn so far? I would say. On the one end, I think Auburn lost too many players that could have been starters next year. Too many really talented players, right? Around 9 or 10 guys that would probably be starters for Auburn next year, and good players. And so far, the incoming, I think they've gone out and got a lot of young guys with potential to step up. 8 of the 9 are from USF so far. Jeremiah Coger, the wide receiver, was USF's number 2 receiver, so I think he'll come in and start right away. Fred Gaskin, I think, is a real spark plug that can be Auburn's starting nickel potentially, or at least compete for it next year. So they've got a couple of guys, but I don't think they're anywhere close to, getting the quarterback they need, rebuilding the offensive and defensive lines, getting a couple of, at least one starting cornerback. So they've still got a lot of work to do there.
Brian, Barry and I were talking about this earlier today, just about some of the money that's being thrown around for college players. Obviously, Texas Tech has dominated the headlines, a $5 million quarterback. We know what Mark Cuban's done with Indiana and whatnot. Finding those type guys to kind of exceed or get you over the hump from what everybody else has got in terms of NIL, to me is a scary situation for college athletics. Your thought about it? How long can it sustain? And where are those fat cats in the SEC to be able to do what some of these schools in the Big 10 and the Big 12 are doing?
That's a great question about the SEC. I'm a little bit surprised that the SEC is not competing as well as some other schools are in this. Auburn certainly is not at the moment paying the big dollar. They're losing a lot of big dollar type players right now. So we'll see how that trend continues or doesn't continue. But I don't think it's sustainable. I think, as I've thought for several years now, that the powers that be in the NCAA need to sit down with players and come up with some sort of collective bargaining so they can get some things that they want, like some sort of real enforceable contracts with players, some type of salary cap that's enforceable, some type of limits on transfers, although I think you can just tie that to contracts. You don't have to have necessary rules on transfers. And maybe even put buyouts in those contracts. But I just think I think this is too much, and I think it turns off too many people. Even though if you look at the college football ratings and the turnout and everything seems really healthy for the sport, but still, I still think this is the pendulum's swinging a little bit too far one way.
There's a couple of guys, and I struggle in covering this and tracking all of this because things change. There was a couple of guys, Sam Turner is one, and there's a couple of others I can't remember, that were going to go into the portal, and now they're not going into the portal. That's money, right? I mean, it's all money, but is all that part of the negotiation process where they say, I'm thinking about going in unless you gosh, it's got to be hard to track, Brian.
Well, in the couple weeks or a few weeks leading up to this, Auburn put offers on board for all their players mostly. Some of them, of course, are like, hey, you probably need to move on. And a lot of those players are like, we want to go in the portal and see if we can do better, or maybe we just want to go somewhere else. I don't know. But the only one I know of is Sam Turner that's flipped on in the portal and then returning. He is a redshirt freshman, broke his leg, I think, or suffered a pretty serious injury during practice this fall. So I don't consider him necessarily a guy that was demanding a bunch of money right now. I do think from seeing him before his injury that he is going to be a really, really good player. Big, strong, fast, has natural receiving ability, catching ability. So I think that was good for Auburn. I thought Auburn kind of made a mistake letting him go, even though it wasn't a big mistake. He's just one of those guys I've seen at practice that I just think is going to be a player for Auburn. So we'll see how that develops over the coming years. But for the most part, I'm not expecting many, if any more at all, to flip back to Auburn. Maybe one or two here or there, but I think it's going to be tough right now.
Another former Auburn player, Barry and I were talking about this as well, Brian. And you're gonna have to help me with the young man's name. Wide receiver, hit the portal, ending up in Minnesota.
Oh, right, Perry Thompson. Yeah,
and I'm thinking Minnesota. Are you kidding me? I mean, does he know how cold it gets up there? And the only thing I can think of is, well, they're paying him so much money, he doesn't give a damn where Minnesota is. Just I'm going. If you're gonna pay me, I'm there. That's a head scratcher. I don't get that, but obviously I don't know. But my first inclination is it's all about the money.
I think Perry wanted two things. I think he wanted money and he wanted the ability to start, and I believe that's what Minnesota's offered him. Although I have not, investigated that fully. But at Auburn, I guess he became the fourth receiver this fall with some injuries, but he was still struggling to get full playing time. And of course, Auburn struggles so much at the quarterback position. It's hard for any receiver to really excel here. And then I think he had a lot of family pressure to try to maximize his the amount of money he was making. So
Right.
it appears that a lot of Big Ten teams are maybe having a little bit more money than some SEC teams at the moment. They're having more success in the playoffs the last couple of years. There's two teams left. There's one SEC team left, and they're not the favorite to win the semifinal game against Miami. So
Right.
I don't know if there's a shift going on, but it's certainly something to, I think, keep an eye on what's going on here as far as player movement and the success Big Ten is having compared to the SEC and compared to really the previous 20 years in the SEC dominance.
We were discussing this earlier today. I made an offhand comment and started thinking about it. I wasn't sure it was true, and I'm trying to justify it. As of right now, Auburn does not have a scholarship quarterback on their football roster. Correct?
That is correct, unless I guess the freshman has enrolled. Possibly they signed in the 26th class, so that was committed to USF. But technically, it's going to be an entirely new quarterback room. Ashton Daniels has signed or committed to Florida State. Deuce Knight has left. I don't know where he'll end up, but I'm sure it'll be at a pretty good program. So, yeah, this is 2 years in a row Auburn starting over. I don't think that's a good thing.
No.
But I also don't think player movement at the quarterback position is something that's going to be rare. I think it's going to be pretty common, although it'd be good if a school like Auburn to have a little bit more continuity. I hope I said that word right at that position.
We've talked about Alabama's terrible running game. What about running backs at Auburn? Do you see any movement there? Do you see any going after running backs in the portal?
Yes, I think that's a position that Golish and his staff put more emphasis on, want to invest more in. You've seen Auburn land USF transfer. I'm not sure how you say his first name, Nakai Davenport. I think he rushed for around 600 yards, 6 or 7 touchdowns, a big kid, kind of a one-cut, north-south type runner. I think will come in and complement Jeremiah Cobb, compete with him. So, I don't necessarily think they're going to go out and try to sign, elite, top first-round draft pick type running back. If those exist anymore, not many of them. But I do think Auburn is going to try to upgrade that position here with some more proven guys in the portal. So maybe one more running back to add to this group.
I'm not down on it at all. But is there a chance to sign any elite, handy-dandy, number one first-round NFL draft choice guy anywhere? I mean, is there a difference maker out there on any of the lists that you're seeing? Auburn fans are looking and saying, gosh, if we can find a Cam or if we can find some,
right,
then we're back at it again. Is there anybody like that?
Well, you can go back to last year and look at what Indiana did with their quarterback, who's now won the Heisman Trophy and is going to be maybe leading them to a national championship. So if you make the right evaluation, there are certainly those guys.
Fair point.
And, I just look at Chaz Coleman from Penn State, that edge rusher that's going to is he going to Ohio? I guess he hasn't decided yet, but I think he's a stud. I think he'll be a first-round draft pick. I don't know about some of these quarterbacks. Sam Levitt is a guy that from Arizona State, I think. Of course, Cam Coleman from Auburn, I think, is the number 2 guy in our portal right now. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm sure some of these guys are going to end up being really, really good players and first-round draft picks. It's just a matter of making really good evaluations and giving them that opportunity.
Yeah, and the money there again, it all goes back to that. You mentioned Cam Coleman, and there were some stories about would Alabama be interested in him, and he wanted allegedly $2.1 million, and they said, well, we can give you 1, but then we'll have to find another way through some type of whatever they call them, to come up with another million for you somewhere else. I guess kind of a Mark Cuban type guy to pay the way. To me, that's almost like you're panicking a little bit. I mean, I don't think Cam Coleman's going to end up in Tuscaloosa first and foremost, but if you're trying to Jimmy and Joe and rob Peter to pay Paul to try to get a guy to come to your school, to me, that's not a good sign.
No, it's not.
I mean, you better have the money ready to go. And I know they got to divvy it out, and they got to make sure they're making good decisions with every player. But some of these rumors that I've heard about how they get creative about trying to get some of these guys the money that they want, I'm thinking, is that sustainable?
I don't think it is, and I don't think making adjustments like that is really a good way to run your program. I think going into this, back in November and December, you should know exactly how much you budgeted for each position. Excuse me. And you should be out there making good valuations on potential guys getting into the portal. So this is the groundwork for this should have been laid out in the fall. And you should not, you have to make adjustments sometimes because, hey, we have to have this quarterback or we have to have this receiver. So yeah, we'll up our offer a couple 100,000 or whatever, but not 1 or 1.5 million. I just don't see how that works, especially if you're talking about a school that has some sort of budget they have to adhere to, at least, for now. I know some schools, it doesn't appear like they have that, but I think Auburn is certainly operating under a budget right now, fair, under fair, right or wrong. I think that's how it's happening at Auburn, at least.
A miracle for Auburn, almost got them sneaking out of Athens with a basketball win. Didn't have they got a miracle, but it wasn't enough of a miracle. Yeah. They lose to Georgia on the road. They got A&M at Neville Arena coming up tonight. What can we read into the early going in the SEC schedule?
Well, it was kind of a miracle. And then I thought Wilkinson from Georgia hit on one leg, hopping around, hits 2 logo threes in overtime, really was a difference. So yeah, that was a wild game. So sometimes you just got to say, it happened. But Auburn did compete and played hard. They've got to play better defensively. That's what Stephen Pearl talked a lot about, especially their perimeter defense and all the blow-bys and dunks and layups and uncontested shots at the rim that Georgia got. So that's something to work on. And now you got Buckyball coming to Neville Arena tonight. I'll be there. Fast tempo, fast pace, pressing, shooting a lot of threes. It's going to be interesting to see how Auburn adjusts. I think the biggest concern if you're Auburn is the depth that Auburn does not have or is not developing right now compared to a school like A&M, which is going to roll out, 10 or 11 players. Georgia did the same against them. And I don't know if it made a big difference in overtime, but it certainly was a positive for them. It didn't help Auburn that 2 of their players had fouled out, Tahad and Philip Jovich too. So, but I do think Auburn plays well at home, and they just got to get some pieces going. Tahad Pettiford, of course, needs to play better, needs to get more assists, needs to shoot better, needs to be more of a leader out there.
Brian, and back to the money situation. I think a lot of fans maybe overlook this, but like in Auburn's case, basketball wise, they're pretty much, building a new roster this year. Then you mix in football as well. That money only goes so far because you got to use what you're using for football for basketball too.
Yep. Yeah. And what does women's basketball get, or what do these other sports get after, football complains and gets an extra 500,000 for this player or that player, right? So yes, it's a mess right now.
Well, if I was the athletic director, those sports wouldn't get a dime, but that's just me.
Well, some of them aren't. So that's
women's basketball. What? You kidding me?
Get out of my office. I could just.
But in South Carolina, you want to invest a little bit into it, right? Because it fills up their arena and people are excited about it. And Auburn hasn't really been good in women's basketball since 80s, early 90s, really. They've had their moments, but still.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's really difficult, right? Auburn spent a lot of money putting this roster together, but you see some of the really good players that went to other schools, and you wonder, hey, what if Auburn had another million? What would this roster look like? Maybe they had that other big man, that they need, or maybe a little bit better at this position. But that's the way it goes. It is so much about how much money you have, how well you evaluate and put value on players you're recruiting, right? If you're overpaying or underpaying or getting good deals, it's so much a finance job now than it is being a football or basketball coach.
I just can't think of an example where Auburn has overpaid for a student athlete on the football team. None comes to.
What year are we talking about, Barry? How far back can we go?
We can go.
I can tell you one they got a deal on. His name was Cam Newton.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the one I was thinking of.
180,000 right now. Yeah. That is a freaking steal.
Yeah, that marks I think the 783rd straight show that John has mentioned Cam Newton's name, and it was 15 years ago.
Yeah, that was you're talking about. Ain't no doubt.
What an incredible investment. There should be bronze statues of whoever paid Cam that money out in front of Jordan Hare Stadium right now with a plaque commemorating that moment. Maybe
who was that fat lineman that got $180,000 at Alabama that didn't do squat? I mean,
Albert Means.
Means. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get your money's worth.
Again, my role here is to keep this thing on the rails, Brian. Believe me, I've had some losses. I've had some wins, mostly losses to this point. I
forgot to say allegedly. Whoops, I'm sorry.
That was in
saying.
Yeah. All right, later on, check the transcript when the lawsuits come. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. You got to. It seems like it's hard to cover the transfer portal because a lot of things coming, a lot of things going. But you guys are covering it, basketball, a whole lot of other stuff. How do people get involved?
And I would expect a lot of good things to happen for Auburn in the transfer portal coming up. And we are covering it minute by minute, hour by hour. Things are happening. There was a lot happening yesterday, and I think there'll be even more today. So definitely stay tuned to auburnsports.com. Follow me on Twitter /X at BMattAU, and we'll have plenty of coverage of that. And of course, I'll be at basketball tonight, and anything else happening at Auburn, we'll be on top of it. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Minute after minute, hour after hour. That sounds like Coolio from Gangster's Paradise. Good stuff.
Well, minute by minute was a Doobie Brothers song.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate it.
All right, see y'all.
Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, always checking in with us on Tuesdays. Really appreciate his time. Great information and insight from Brian. He feels pretty positive about what's coming down the transfer portal pike for the Tigers in the next day or two. So stay tuned, as they say.
15 years ago, people. 15 years since Cam Newton was at Auburn. Well, the idea is like a drip on a stone. It's it carves the Grand Canyon. Pretty soon, if John keeps going, everybody's going to forget the NCAA and say, Longshore, he says it so much, it must be true. $180,000.
Who we got here? Cam is appealing to get that $180,000 bumped up to today's amount.
Yeah, exactly. That's such and such and so amount in 2026 dollars. Oh, let's play along.
I mean, no doubt Auburn got. I mean, you can't put a dollar figure on the upside of that. But Albert Means, on the other hand, that was a crash.
Albert Means was from Memphis. I don't know the money. The dollar figure everybody threw out was $200,000 for him. And $180,000 for Cam. Nobody knows. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
Like Daniel says, the Dodge Chargers at Alabama in 07 to 23 were a bargain too. When you think about it, sure. But
there were a lot in the parking lot. I know there.
The thing with Albert Means that sparked the 10 stud contributions, Logan Young, and all of these names and stuff. But Albert Means. John uncharitably said that Albert Means didn't do squat at Alabama.
Was he worth $200,000? I don't think so.
I remember the story about him, and he's probably a great guy now. I don't know, but he probably was a great guy then. Now that I think about it, but the thing is after he signed in February, his position coach and the strength and conditioning coach got a little plan together for him, as they do for everybody, and said, okay, before you get on campus, we want you to keep your conditioning. We want you to run. We want you to work out. Make sure you eat a lot of chicken, for the protein and all that. And he did, except they found out it was fried chicken. He ate a lot of fried chicken.
They go to Popeyes every day.
No, and he showed up about 35, 40 pounds more than they wanted him to, and it never really did
Not
work
good.
out.
Not
Let's
good.
take a break. Yep.
Let's
Coming
do
up. Travis Ryer on YouTube. We're going to talk a lot about the Crimson Tide and their lack of a performance at the Rose Bowl. We're going to talk probably a little bit about the Jacksonville Jaguars winning the AFC South. We got a lot to get to with him.
Oh, yeah.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Wrap Up the Year sales event is on at Stivers. Grand Cherokees and 3-row Grand Cherokee L's under 30 grand. Wrangler 16 grand off. And Gladiators 14 grand off.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
The Wrap Up the Year sales event is on at Stivers with great deals on new Rams like 0% for 6 years. Laramie's up to 18 grand off. Bighorns up to 17 grand off. And Heavy Duties 12 grand off.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What I miss? I have no idea.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Okay, about 3 minutes to the top of the hour here on this Tuesday. You mentioned A&M and Auburn, little hoops action tonight. That is one of 3 SEC matchups. We got 4 SEC games tonight, starting off with 2 of them at 6 p.m.
Yeah, the Texas A&M Auburn game is at 8 tonight on the SEC network. The early game is Georgia and Florida on the SEC network. Again, it was a really good basketball game. Auburn and Georgia up in Athens. There's a couple of teams in the SEC that have really surprised me. Not necessarily that they're good, but they're this good. Georgia is 13-1. They have not played what I would consider a very strong schedule, but 13-1 is 13-1.
Obviously
tomorrow,
not, Barry, because they're a 9.5-point underdog.
Yeah.
Thinking, what in the heck's up with that?
Yeah, well, Auburn, Texas A&M tonight, 8 o'clock. Texas A&M is 11-3. Auburn's good, 9-5. Not great, good. They don't have a rim protector. I wish Walker Kessler would walk through that door. They'd probably be 13-2 or 12-2. But Auburn's a 7.5-point favorite in that one tonight. Tomorrow, Alabama is on the road in Nashville.
Yep.
How about, I think the Vanderbilt, whatever they call the athletic director at Vanderbilt, the executive associate vice president for athletics, her name's Candace Lee. They got it going on in Nashville. Football team ranked just outside the college football playoff, a Heisman finalist. Men's basketball at Vanderbilt, undefeated. They are 14-0. Hosting Alabama tomorrow night. That is also an 8 o'clock game, but it's on ESPN2. Vanderbilt women's basketball is 14-0. I think they're the only schools in the country that has both their men's and women's teams unbeaten. There's no line on the Alabama-Vanderbilt game yet. They'll probably have one.
We'll have one
John tells me in the morning.
Well, that'll be in the morning. Every SEC home team tonight is a favorite, and a pretty nice favorite.
I don't get Florida being a 9.5. Florida has struggled. They're the defending national champions. They played an awfully tough schedule, but they miss Walter Clayton. They're 9-5. Georgia is 13-1. They're playing in Gainesville on the front end of an SEC network doubleheader. Auburn and Texas A&M at the back end. Florida is a 9.5-point favorite in that game.
Yeah, could be some daily dog action here.
Yeah,
games,
also at 6, South Carolina and LSU tonight. LSU is 12-2. They're doing really, really well. They had a clip the other day at an LSU basketball game where LSU women's basketball coach Kim Mulkey walks out in pregame hand in hand with Lane Kiffin.
Ugh.
What's that? What's that all about? Anyway. I'm not a fan. Well, anyway, so that's
I don't know about all that. Yeah, that's just one of those publicity shots, as they call them.
And and then we're back at it. I know some of you people. I know your ways. I know what you think and how it is. It's basketball tonight. Auburn, 8:00. Basketball tomorrow. Alabama, 8:00. And then back to the college football playoff on Thursday and Friday. And then you get the NFL playoffs starting on Saturday. So you're almost there. Thursday, it's Miami and Ole Miss down in Arizona.
Yep.
6:30, both of the games, Thursday and Friday, 6:30 on ESPN. That doesn't change. Miami and Ole Miss on Thursday. Oregon and Indiana on Friday in Atlanta, 6:30 on ESPN. I'm telling you, this is a thing. Indiana, it surprised me a little bit. And I spent some time this summer in Bloomington. My whole family did it, a family reunion where my sister Jenny and her husband Grant live. And that place, they're geeked up about football. Remember when we had Connor O'Gara on from Saturday Down South that we love? We need to have him on again. Love that guy. He's an Indiana grad. He actually was on the show with us with his Indiana hoodie on. And he said, back when I was in school, I tailgated before the football game. Once it was over with, I went home, turned on the TV, and watched college football. It ain't that way anymore. You watch. Indiana had more people out there in the Rose Bowl than Alabama did.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have more people in the Peach Bowl at Mercedes-Benz Stadium than Oregon will. This is the end now at Indiana. They're looking around at each other going, can you believe this? Us? Really? We're doing this? We've got the best coach in the country at Indiana? Can somebody pinch me? This is crazy. It's the best story, I think, in college football in the last couple of years. It's
both Miami and Indiana, 3.5-point favorites in this game.
Ooh, Miami and Indiana for the national championship.
Both of them favorites. And who was thinking Miami 2 months ago?
Nobody. They had the hot start, then they lost a couple, and everybody thought, well, that's Mario Cristobal. No, this and that. It's I love this Final Four matchup. Miami, Ole Miss, Oregon, Indiana. Only Miami has ever won a national championship. Ever. And that was whatever it was, 40 years ago?
Yeah.
In the 80s, something? Well, no, Larry Coker won one in the 90s. So, yeah, it's been a while. And I think it's good for college football. Doesn't have to be the brands. It doesn't always have to be, the same old out there. Bama fans, John asked this in a sense yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's kind of been previewing it at some point, and you guys thought, yeah, no, never going to happen. Is Alabama, is it on a downward slope? Will it ever again be the way it was?
You hear a lot of that, hear a lot of these fans and talking heads. I mean, they said that after Bryant. It'll never be the same again. And look what happened. So you never say never.
It was even
but
better.
I think the playing field has been leveled. We've talked about that. It's not, there again, you got an Indiana playing for the national championship. You got Texas Tech spending $5 million on a quarterback. You don't have the depth charts that you used to have. I think things are, you got, Missouri and South Carolina and these other teams, with some really good players on their rosters as well. I just think things have evened out so much. It's very difficult to see a team being dominant year in and year out, like it's been.
Travis Ryer joins us. Ryer on YouTube. So much diverse and quality content on the YouTube channel. Check it out. Good morning, Travis. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Doing well, but we've got into this line of conversation, and we're going to hit it a little bit later on with you in a moment. But first of all, the overarching takeaways you have from what happened to Alabama in the Rose Bowl, Travis.
Got good old out footballed is what I would say. I think it was another example of blocking and tackling and high level commitment to who you are in terms of 365 days out of the year. And also, just really well coached Indiana was, and thorough and complete, I think is the best way to describe what we saw out in Pasadena.
So, of course, I'm sure, as you well know, and people you've spoken with, a lot of people are asking the same question. What's going to change in the off season for those type things not to happen in 2026?
Well, from the run game perspective, it looks like Alabama wasn't going to waste any time trying to immediately upgrade that situation. Now, does that say to me that perhaps Kalen DeBoer and the staff thought it was more of a running back issue with the run game than maybe the line of scrimmage? I'm not ready to go there, but I don't think there's any question. They needed some juice and some pop in the run game, because you're not always, I don't care who you are, you're not always going to get it blocked perfectly, right? Not every run is going to unfold in a way in which any type of back can have success in that sort of offense. So with Hollywood Smothers coming in from NC State, you look at his documented production the last couple of years. The things that stand out to me are that he's a really good yards per carry guy, right around 6 yards per carry the last couple of seasons at State. And he takes care of the football too. He had just one lost fumble on 300 plus touches in 2024 and 2025. So that looks like an immediate upgrade. I still think they've got other guys that can help them. I think they need to be more complementary in their running back room. By the end of the season, you just didn't really have that with Jam Miller and Daniel Hill. You had two guys that were kind of similar in terms of, what they were going to get you down in and down out. Well, Hollywood Smothers looks like a guy that even when it's not right, he can make it not wrong, if that makes any sense. But he can also catch it too, which I know there's a lot of comparisons to Jahmyr Gibbs because of his dynamic ability. He's coming in from an ACC school. I'll tell you, I see some James Cook too in this guy. Not saying he's going to be James Cook, but change of direction, twitch, instincts, catch it out of the backfield. It reminds me a little bit of the Buffalo Bills running back, who, by the way, led the league in rushing.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I know that you go over this with a fine-tooth comb. You get a lot of input for your viewers and listeners from our buddy Chase Goodbread as well on Talkin' Tide. Do you have a crystal ball about what the quarterback room is going to look like? Do you have advice or an insight into what Ty Simpson's going to do?
I'm kind of like everyone else. Just it's a waiting game at this point. I know that some of the national voices and reporters like Pete Thamel, what you hear from them, it sounds more like as of yesterday, it might be the NFL for Ty Simpson. If that's the case, I would totally get it because from a quarterback perspective, looking at this upcoming draft, I mean, once you get beyond the two guys that are pretty much unanimous in terms of the top two guys, 3, 4, 5 could go any number of ways. So that's going to be fascinating from that perspective. But yeah, I mean, it's the domino. It's one of the biggest dominoes in college football this offseason is Ty Simpson and what happens to Alabama's quarterback room. And I think there are legitimately good options if Ty decides to move on. I think, Austin Mack showed you even in the Rose Bowl when he went in there, it didn't feel like it was too big for him. Now, he's had the benefit of being able to develop at a reasonable pace the last couple of 3 years. So I think that's a good thing for him. In terms of upside, Keelan Russell, it's undeniable. He just is that dynamic guy who can also do it with his legs. As we're seeing with Trinidad Chambliss, that can carry a team a long way too, both as a passer and a runner. So, yeah, until that domino falls, and you got to think it's going to be here fairly soon because this window for both the portal and underclassmen where the NFL draft is concerned, it kind of coincides. So I would think we hear something pretty soon. And then based on Ty's decision, you could see two guys back in that room. You could see just one guy back in that room.
I know this sounds crazy, Travis, but if Ty Simpson elects not to go to the NFL draft, should we assume he'll be the QB1 for 2026 at Alabama?
My go-to at this point, John, is I will not allow anything to surprise me. So even if it isn't the NFL draft, no, I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, without any doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, Ty Simpson is back for year 2 as Alabama's starting quarterback. Because the portal's out there, man.
Yeah.
And there are still situations that are undetermined at other places where that position is concerned. You think about Tennessee with Joey Aguilar, and he's kind of waiting to see how this Pavia lawsuit plays out. And even Pavia apparently isn't even waiting around to see how that plays out. There's places like Clemson that are going through quarterback transition. I'm not saying that I think those are specific places that Ty Simpson, I'm just telling you kind of the landscape. There's always that initial surge with like Texas Tech that we've seen and Florida and other programs where, it's a big wave of change at quarterback. But then there's that second set, it seems like, that comes too. And it gets quiet on the quarterback front at some places, and that leads you to wonder, okay, what's coming the next round potentially as you get into maybe the second week of the portal. So, yeah, I wouldn't discount anything, I guess is my point, where Ty Simpson is concerned.
Kind of a double-edged question. It's actually two questions. I'll go ahead and say that. Are you surprised about Quay Russaw? And what gauge as a football player Jalen Mbakwe?
Yeah, Quay Russaw, not shocked, I guess is what I would say. Because you also saw Yanzi Pierre really emerge at that position and really become Wolf 1, I would say, in that pecking order. Now, Quay, I think, is going to do well on the open market. I think when we do get around to perhaps hearing about potential suitors, it'll be, an impressive list. He plays a position of value, which from an NIL perspective serves him well on the open market to go along with that. And they went into the offseason with 4 players at that position that you felt like they liked. Yanze, obviously. Quay, obviously. Noah Carter's a guy we saw some of as the season wore on. And Justin Hill's a guy we saw a lot of in 2025. So if that's your top four in this day and age at that type of position, even though you'll play them together some, you're going to play more than one. But hey, if you can hit the market and go get, top guy money in a top guy situation at that position when you're perhaps not the top guy at your existing situation, I get it, and so, and then you throw Keon Keeley into that mix too, and it's another hit to your edge pass rush because obviously he's decided to move on, even if he technically isn't one of those Wolf linebackers. And then for Mbakwe, I think it's all about, can he find a position fit? Because this is a guy coming out of high school, and I get it. I get how Clay Chalkville used that guy. Take the middleman out of it, get him the football in his hands immediately, and go win a state title or have a chance to win multiple state titles. I totally get that. It's kind of like he reminded me coming out of high school, and this is my old head coming out, reminded me of Kevin Falk when he was coming out of Karen Crow High School in Louisiana and went to LSU. Karen Crow ran Wildcat every play. And I would too with Kevin Falk. The difference is Kevin Falk was going to be a running back in high school. In college at LSU and in the NFL, which he obviously became. That wasn't Mbakwe. So it was going to have to be corner. It was going to have to be wide receiver. I thought he was developing pretty well at corner, but then wanted to make the switch to offense. Well, when you did that, then you jump into a deep rotation where it's not just a immediate path to the field. So for him at Georgia Tech, and I like that fit, if it's going to be DB, if it's going to be back to corner, he needs to settle in. I think of him as right now more of a utility player. To me, he's more Kendrick Law. Like Kendrick Law was at Alabama. I think Kendrick moved on to Kentucky, had a nice season.
Did
this year.
Yeah.
So I still personally like Mbakwe with the ball in his hands. But he has the attributes to be successful at corner, but that commitment needs to be resolute and there needs to be a stick-to-itiveness to it.
What will the wide receiver room look like in the fall?
That's a great question. I mean, you still got Isaiah Horton with an NFL decision to make. You've got Jeremy Bernard obviously moving on. Cole Adams has moved on. Mbakwe has moved on. Jalen Hale has moved on. It looked like Rico Scott was moving on.
Yep.
Then he did a reversal there. The Cam Coleman stuff has been out there. Not sure if there's a lot to that right now. But you start back with Vlade Brooks and Ryan Williams right now is what you feel like right now anyway. You that's your starting points. Isaiah Horton, if he comes back, great. But I think for Rico Scott, there is certainly room for upward mobility, and maybe some things have happened or not happened where the NFL draft is concerned and or the portal is concerned that led to that reversal for Scott to say, at least for now, he's coming back and not hitting the portal. I like him. I think he's got versatility at that position to go along with Brooks and Ryan Williams. I think if Horton goes to NFL, that's where Cedarian Morgan, the incoming freshman, has to be impactful because he's that other kind of guy. He's the size guy. He's going to be the 6'3" type of guy to go along with Williams and Brooks and Rico Scott. But that's where it looks like it'll pretty much start if it plays out that way, again, depending on Isaiah Horton. But I think Scott's he lost some reps to injury and also Brooks's emergence as a true freshman. But I've said before, I think he brings some John Mechie to the position. He's got some flexibility on what he can do, some versatility, and he's also not afraid or above the physical attributes that, the physical requirements that you have to bring to that spot.
Travis, how much shine is off of Kalen DeBoer since he got there?
It's crazy because you talk about a weird year. in some ways, it was, as we've heard it referred to before, that magical second year. In some ways, it was. Because if I told you before the season, Alabama's going to beat Georgia, Alabama's going to beat Tennessee, Alabama's going to beat Vanderbilt,
LSU.
Alabama's going to beat LSU, Alabama's going to win on the road at Auburn, you would have said, yeah. I mean, that's that year too that we've seen Saban have. We've seen Kirby have. You know, the coaches that you think about. Hell, you think about Sig right now.
Kurt
in year
Signetti,
two
yeah.
in Indiana. It's certainly magical. But then, you know, the 4 losses, 3 of those were just on the level of embarrassment, you know, on big stages. Season opener, embarrassed by Florida State. SEC championship game, embarrassed by Georgia, embarrassed in the Rose Bowl. I think that's what sticks in the craw with most Alabama fans, and the reason why they're going to be hesitant to say, oh, yeah, it was clearly a step forward, made the college football playoff, won 11 games, won a playoff game on the road. The answer to a lot of that is, well, why the hell are you playing on the road in the playoffs? You know, for Alabama fans, you know, that'll be kind of, well, great, you won on the road in the playoff, but why were you on the road? That's just kind of where it sits, as we know, with Alabama. So it's kind of a moving target to try to. I don't think you can say it was a complete failure in any way, but the degree in which the step was taken, it's debatable for sure.
Well, I didn't help the situation yesterday on the show when I mentioned that Mike Shula never lost a game by 35 points. So,
That's the problem. That's it. When you're non-competitive on big stages, that's never going to sit well. And to do it multiple times.
Or as I mentioned today, Travis, 23.9 million people saw Alabama get their ass kicked in the Rose Bowl.
They did, and 23.8 million enjoyed it, I think. So, you know.
So therefore, I mean, how hot is his seat?
I'm not ready to say it's like hot. You know, I don't think it's going to be Hugh Freeze going into 2025 hot, or Sam Pittman along those lines. Mostly because the guy who hired him, I just don't. Look, and that can change, as we know, especially in today's game where you're even more dependent on, support financially. And how that can be a real problem if you don't sort of drive or steer the ship the way a lot of influential people want it steered. I think Kalen's in an okay place. You know, I mean, you are, what it makes you do is start, look ahead to 2026 schedule and the start that Alabama needs to get off to. You know, from that standpoint, and those first 3 games with Florida State in Tuscaloosa in week 3, and go on the road in your SEC opener against Kentucky in a new regime in week 2. And I think it's just really important to get off to that sort of 3-0 type of start, and try to build some momentum and establish, you know, more of a mindset and an identity that, you know what, we're not just about catching blocks and strikes. We will strike people. We do have a semblance of physicality in our football program. And that's kind of a year-round mindset. That's something they've got to, you would think, be really emphasizing right now, you know, going into off-season work and those, because you can't just show up on Saturday and say, you know what, now we're going to run it 30 times successfully, or we're going to be more physical, or we're going to be the team that, you know, delivers strikes and doesn't just catch them. So those are the type of things they've got to really work to implement here quickly.
Got a couple of requests from our viewers today. Your thoughts about Bama basketball? Big win against Kentucky Saturday. They head to Vanderbilt tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, a huge matchup, undefeated Vanderbilt, right? So, you know, that place at times has been very problematic for Alabama, like it has been for a lot of programs, but you got a top 12 matchup, you know, in the midweek. So it seems wide open, guys, in the SEC right now in terms of trying to project who's going to win this thing at the end. And Alabama has that potential now. Injuries you worry about a little bit. Amari Allen had the ankle but came back to play against Kentucky on Saturday. H. Durrell, what's his situation? Sounds like game time decision.
I hope we didn't lose Travis there.
I got to hear the Jags report before we
no
wrap
kidding.
up. Yeah,
the Bills coming up on Sunday.
Buffalo coming up on Sunday.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. No doubt.
Well, we appreciate Travis joining us. Travis Reier. It's Reier on YouTube, and the channel has tons of great stuff. I enjoy the second helping and the Talking Tide and all of that. But there's also, No Sleep Teal, or I get my fix on the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. Just go to YouTube and search Travis Reier. It's Reier on YouTube. Joins us every Tuesday on the show. And some news of the day. Brian Matthews turned out to be a prophet. Byrum Brown has committed to Auburn. It hasn't been. It hasn't. I mean, the signing is coming. It's a thing, but he has committed this morning. So Auburn has their quarterback for next year, which leads to a challenge. Byrum Brown, very good when he was at South Florida. He's reunited with Coach Golesh. Nobody's really surprised. But the challenge is, Bama fans, what can you do with the name Byrum Brown? Does he BYRUM? Does that lead to any nicknames that you can quickly come up with? Does he have any sort of striking physical feature like, I don't know, big ears, or is he short? You guys are going to have to come up with something. I never thought, and I like John Dent fine, but I never thought his reference to Jackson Arnold as Jackson Arnold Ziffel was particularly timely, because Arnold Ziffel was the name of a pig that was on the show.
Well, I mean, Auburn is an agriculture school, and I mean, that show took place on a farm.
It was on Green Acres, and that was like 60 years ago, right?
Oh, 60 years. I still love the reruns.
Ava Gabor, and he's like, hey, Arnold Ziffel, you got to come up. Okay, Bama fans, you don't have much time, although you knew this was coming. You got to come up with something Byrum Brown-like so you can tell all your buddies and get a good chuckle out of that. There's probably something there that I'm missing. So we'll return in a moment.
Yes,
it's
we will.
The Phantom's Daily Dog. Is there something out there? We're 2 days away from the college football semifinals, so it'll be, a target-rich environment there. But what are we going to do about the Phantom's Daily Dog coming up?
It's over here. Hey, get out, boy. Get out.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. Wow.
It's Longshore and McKnight. Yeah, you need to get a garden hose on that dog. Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Okay, it is right at the bottom of hour number 2. Glad you're with us here today on the program. Great information from Travis Ryer on YouTube. Always appreciate his time here on the program. You mentioned something about the Daily Dog. Oh yeah,
Daily Dog. Yeah. I just look on the schedule and on our expansive color coordinated readout here, and it says 8:30 Phantom's Daily Dog. So I hope you got one, huh? What are we thinking here?
Well, it is what we're here to do. So let's check out the Daily Dog. The game was on Peacock, I believe, last night for anybody that wanted to watch it.
Peacock.
Yep. It was the Detroit Pistons hosting the New York Knicks.
I don't get it.
Detroit was a home underdog.
Go figure. Yeah. And again, the Knicks were like 11 games over 500.
It's unbelievable.
The Pistons are better. But they're significantly better. Pistons are like 18 games over 500.
Sure. I mean, that's what they're telling us. But and I will admit, I checked the score from time to time. Didn't watch the game, certainly not. But I did check the score.
That takes extra clicks.
Yeah.
on his mouse.
That's right.
Ain't doing that.
But I did check the score, and I'm going, oh wow, man, this looks pretty good.
How about that?
I like where this is heading.
Yeah. Detroit wins it by 31.
31.
And
they were catching 2.5.
I don't get it. Does he ever say, before I lay this opinion out, or before I, use any fiscal considerations? Are you guys sure? I mean, are you're going? I mean, this is your line, right?
That's it.
I can play this line. All right, I'll do it. And sometimes it seems too good to be true, and usually the Phantom says, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Yeah. This was one of those deals.
31-point win, catching 2.5, 121-90. So I did take a look at the NBA card tonight, and I'm thinking, woof. Indiana at home as a dog. They're terrible.
Dance of the living dead.
The Washington Bullets, or whatever they're called.
No,
now.
They're the Wizards.
Wizards.
Yeah.
They are terrible. A home dog. Memphis, not great, but San Antonio's pretty good. A home dog in the Memphis Timberwolves. The Pelicans hosting
they're
the
actually
Lakers.
The Grizzlies, but he's on a roll here. Yeah.
What was the
Memphis Timberwolves? You meant Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah. Yeah, the Memphis Grizzlies, former Vancouver Grizzlies. They were they were in Vancouver before Memphis.
Yes.
The Pelicans lay 5.5-point dog against the Lakers. You think LeBron's playing tonight? Don't think so.
Against the Pels, who are 21 games under 500, they've won 8 games
on a 7-game losing streak. Sacramento is also a dog. A lot of home dogs in the NBA tonight.
Ooh. Bad game.
But I thought, there's something else that's catching my fancy a little bit more. And it was actually something our man Brian Matthews had to say. Talking about Auburn and Texas A&M tonight.
Oh.
Mentioning that or his opinion that the Aggies a little deeper on the bench, a little bit more, of a substitution pattern. Auburn head coach Stephen Pearl calling out his team's lack of defensive effort. One of their star players isn't playing up to
par, up to expectations. Yeah, so Auburn cannot guard the paint. They need Walker Kessler. They need Somebody.
So I'm thinking could be a little locker room dissension going on over there.
Wait a minute. Where does that come from?
Well, I mean, coaches calling out his team, calling out a particular player, not playing any defense. Put
and this is they're probably also yelling at each other out of everybody's. Yeah, that's my guy right there. All right, they're not playing defense like they should. The coach isn't happy with some of the things they're doing.
Yeah,
and you know what? They're probably also chirping at each other too. Now that I think about it,
that's right.
It's called piling on, and nobody does.
A lot of new faces on this team. If they gelled and if they've come together. Now,
has there been any fight on a charter aircraft?
There maybe needs to be, because after that point last year, things kind of turned around for the Tigers.
Fair point.
Now, Barry, history tells us I'm a big fan of Bucky McMillan. As a matter of fact, I even suggested he be the coach of another school in the SEC back in the day. People laughed at me, scoffed at me, thought I was great.
Kicking butt and taking names back when he was the head coach at Mountain Brook. And he was the he was the head coach at Samford. Texas A&M took a chance on a coach from Samford, and now he's the coach at A&M, and he's got them 11-3. And you know how he's doing it? He is running up and down the court like a crazy person. That's what Texas A&M is doing, and the fans are loving it right now.
Why not? So I'm not saying Auburn's going to lose this game tonight, Barry, but they're laying 7.5 to a team that's going to play till the final whistle and got a little bench strength to go along with it. I think I'm grabbing that 7.5 tonight.
Okay.
I think A&M can keep it within the number. Now, we certainly don't want them to come into Neville Arena and win the game, do we?
But if they do.
That's okay. But we think they can keep it within the 7.5. So we're taking A&M plus 7.5, 8 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. Has school started back at Auburn yet?
Starts back, I want to say tomorrow.
Okay.
The students will be there. The students will be there tonight. I don't know why they do this, because Troy didn't start until a week from tomorrow. Why don't they?
Oh, wow.
Why don't they all start at the same time? I don't get it. But I'm pretty sure the students will be.
They start tomorrow as well.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's
I don't know who's doing the game.
How does John know when classes start after Christmas break now, when he didn't, even when he was a student there back in the day?
Well, I can tell you, let me get my numbers right. Number 3 child left yesterday to head back to the capstone. I said, wait a minute, when school start? He goes, Wednesday. I went, you're a little late, aren't you? And of course, being that, you got to have a couple of social events before school starts on Wednesday.
Got to get back in the routine of things.
That's all right. So I don't know if it's Damian Fish back and some of those guys are doing the game tonight. I think Fish is really good, by the way.
I do too. I love.
But I don't know who's doing the game for the SEC network. But
I don't either. Yeah.
It is a 8:00 tip from Neville Arena.
Yeah, which means you'll probably miss the first couple of minutes of it as they wrap up the Georgia-Florida game from the
what if it goes overtime? Oh, yeah. Oh, forgot about that. Yeah.
You're going to miss a lot of it. So there is that, our Phantoms Daily Dog. Before we take a break and go to the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel, this from our friend Tobias out in the desert.
All right.
Question, gentlemen. Okay. If you're Kalen DeBoer and Ty wants to return, would you steer him to the portal or welcome him back with open arms? I'm sending him to the portal. Why would you send him to the portal? An experienced quarterback?
I'll tell you why. And Tobias, I'm on the same page with you. That's why I asked Travis that question, which he said, that's a great question. I think Ty Simpson's days as an Alabama quarterback are done. They've seen that experiment. It's time to move on. I said the same thing about Jalen Milroe. I don't think they're the same type player. Don't get me wrong.
No.
I just think it's time for him to move on. And if it doesn't work in the NFL, he needs to go to the open market and see how much money he can get. And the Todd McShays and the Mel Kipers of the world think he's great and wonderful and NFL ready, then I'm sure there's a lot of college teams that would love to have him. But I think Kalen DeBoer, look, he didn't recruit Ty Simpson. He didn't recruit Jalen Milroe. But he did recruit Keelan Russell and Austin Mack. And if that's what it's supposed to take, and he's supposed to be those guys are the next Michael Penix Jr., then I think they need to go with it. Because as Travis kind of alluded, I don't know if you were, reading between the lines here, but I think year 3 is huge for Kalen DeBoer, something I mentioned yesterday. Ain't no farting around anymore. He better come out of the gate strong. And if they struggle against a Florida State at home again and Malzahn's running stuff all over the place on that defense and they ain't got a clue, that is not going to go well.
This number is a number for John that, again, he likes to go to, he likes to refer to, has no idea what it means, but in QBR, Ty Simpson, number 40 in the country. Number 40. Mendoza was 1, Julian Sayin 2, Pavia 3, Drew Mestamaker from North Texas, who's going to Oklahoma State now, is number 4. Ty Simpson, number 40 in pass efficiency. Without a run game, what's it going to – Bama fans, are you going to once again fall in love with a backup quarterback? And then if Keelan Russell struggles in his growth in the first couple of games next year, are you going to jump off of that one and figure, all right, who's the backup behind him? He's the guy that we need.
Probably so. I just don't think Alabama can afford another year with Ty Simpson. I think they got to move on. I mean, there again, DeBoer's been there 2 years. He didn't recruit this guy. Look, if they recruited you to replicate what you did in Washington, then it's time to do it. And with guys that you recruited, I just think it's time to move on. And transfer. It's a tough business out there. We're not here to make friends. All right, when we come back, I got some numbers about Mike Shula. I mentioned it as we started the show.
Your numbers are numbers that you have accumulated with your staff.
Well, there's actually some of my numbers, and there's some numbers from some other people too.
John Longshore here to once again keep Mike Shula's legacy alive.
Has anybody picked him up ever since he got fired from South Carolina? Has anybody picked Mike up?
Yeah. He has always got a friend in John Longshore. All the time. Right. Buffing up his legacy, his memory, his history. Stand by. More to come in just a moment. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. And no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River Region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here today on the program. The Gurn Junior Victoryland topic will be with us in just a moment. Barry Roberts sent this to us yesterday. This was some interesting information as we talked about Mike Shula and Kalen DeBoer and all those good things.
All right.
I'm going to kind of paraphrase here. But Alabama has had some bad losses in its football history. Not many.
It's true. Yes.
And I remember this one, Barry, as a little kid watching Johnny Rogers of the Nebraska Cornhuskers run all over Alabama as Nebraska beat the Tide by 32 points in the Orange Bowl.
He won the Heisman Trophy that year as a wingback. I don't even have wingbacks anymore.
No.
And punt and kick returner. It was the punt and kick returns that everybody remembers against the Crimson Tide.
Might have been the worst loss in Coach Bryant's history. That's a big loss, 32 points. Next year, Bama went on to go 10-2, and in 73, they won the national title. Gene Stallings in 1990 lost by 27 to Louisville. I know. I was there.
34-7, the Browning-Nagel year in
terrible.
the Fiesta Bowl, or what Bama fans very aptly, very creatively called the Fiasco
Bowl. You're exactly right.
Remember that really well.
Stallings went 11-1 the next year, won the national title the year after that. Nick Saban in 2018 lost to Clemson by 28. I was at that game.
Was that the one in San Jose?
Yes, I sure did. But actually flew home in time to be on the show the next day. How did that work? It was incredible. It's called the Red Eye.
Yes.
11-1 the next year. The next year they won the national title. 11-2 the next year, won the national title the next year.
Okay.
All right. How about Mike Dubose? Lost by 31 to Va Tech in the Music City Bowl in 98.
Jim Druckenmiller, I believe, was the quarterback.
Terrible. The next year, they went 10-3, won the SEC title. Mike Shula's biggest loss, Barry, was to LSU on November the 15th, 24 points. 24 points.
That's his biggest margin of defeat as the Alabama coach, 24.
24. Since Kalen DeBoer has been at Alabama, he lost by 21 to Oklahoma last year, 14 to Florida State this year, 21 to Georgia this year, and 35 to Indiana this year. Those are some big double-digit losses in about a 12-month period there for Kalen DeBoer. Also lost by 5 to Vandy and to 2 by Oklahoma this year. And skated by Missouri and South Carolina and Auburn team that weren't great. Mike Shula
also they blew out ULM and Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, they did. They certainly did. Now, Mike Shula did have some double-digit losses, Barry, but after that 24-point loss to LSU, he never had a loss over 17 points after that. Kalen DeBoer's had 2 losses of 21 and 1 of 35. Mike, I'm here for you, buddy. I'm here for you, Mike.
I think your work is done. I think you have presented that well. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have now been charged with rendering a verdict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can. They're going to sequester the defense attorney Longshore. Will be excused. Here we go.
You made the comment yesterday, and I get it. You know, losses aren't easy. Losses suck.
Yeah, they're bad. Yes,
but
nobody likes.
I can walk away from a last-second field goal, or you're driving down the field and you just fall short and lose by 6.
Yes.
But when you lose by 35 and 21, and the effort's not there, and there seems to be confusion on the field and stupid penalties, those losses are different. It's a loss. I get it. But those losses are unacceptable. I mean, everybody's going to lose from time to time. And if you're giving effort and not making mistakes, not stupid penalties, not having 12 players on the field, whatever, that's unacceptable.
Did Mike Shula ever have a penalty with 12 players on the field? Did Mike Shula ever have the deer in the headlights?
1-point lead in the second half. I do know that. And that player got hurt, blew his knee out.
Well, we'll take a break. When we come back, it's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the river region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
Get your coolers ready because we have big news. Superior is now alcohol-free. Michelob Ultra Zero. Zero alcohol, ultra smooth taste, just 29 calories. Hear that? That's the sound of a game changing. Stay in the game with Michelob Ultra Zero.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Zero. Alcohol-free malt beverage, St. Louis, Missouri. 29 calories, 6.5 grams carbohydrates. Less than 1 gram protein and 0 grams fat per 12 fluid ounces.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, a couple of minutes, about 9 minutes or so to the top of the hour. Let's check out Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. 6 big topics that Barry and I have not seen, have no idea what these are about. We're seeing them for the first time as you are.
Yeah, brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22, I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. And we begin with the Black Slice. This is Best Division.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, the 1AA, this is in Gurn Jr.'s neck of the woods. This was in Nashville last night. This was a terrific game. It was crazy. I mean, you had a blocked field goal. You had a blocked extra point. You had a touchdown to tie on 4th and 10 in overtime. Montana State gets that touchdown. Miles Sandstead, extra point, went through the uprights. Montana State beats Illinois State in the FCS. It's 1AA in the championship game in front of a really good crowd down in Nashville. They had a guy that played for Montana State. That guy could play. He's a wide receiver. He can play anywhere he wants to. They got really good football players in 1AA. Guy's name was Taco Dowler.
I love that.
Taco Dowler.
Yeah, I love Taco.
You gotta love a guy named Taco Dowler. Yeah. So there we go.
Not to be confused with Taco Greg.
No, Taco Casa Party City Guacamole Greg. One of our favorites. So yeah, Best Division. That was great. That was an extraordinary football game. It just happened to be in 1AA. If you missed it, you missed a good one. Okay.
I certainly did, and I missed it. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, I was trying.
Purple? No, purple. Yeah. Didn't the Eagles have a song Already Gone?
Yeah, and you have to eat your lunch all by yourself because I'm already gone. Yes, great stuff.
All right, what we got? Oh, Pete Carroll out. Ooh.
1 year. I mean, they fired the coach Jonathan Gannon with the Cardinals after 3 years. They fired Kevin Stefanik after 6 years with the Browns. 1 year for Pete Carroll.
Yeah,
3-14. They beat the Chiefs on Sunday. Who and everybody beat. Vegas. They'd lost 10 straight. They've already wrapped up the number 1 seed in the draft.
Tough year.
Yeah. 1 year for Pete Carroll. Who are they going to hire? Some people want Kurt Signetti. I don't know. Who are they going to get as their starting quarterback with the number 1 pick? Is it going to be Dante Moore from Oregon? Is it going to be Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. Nowhere to go but up.
Nowhere to go but up
for them. They have been through some coaches lately for Vegas.
Yep. Tough if you're a Raider fan.
Yes.
Yep. All right. What's up next on the wheel? Let's see. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It is spinning away. Where will it land? 4 to go. It's going to be thank you, boss.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you, boss.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Microphones, hot mic. What did thank you for bringing me here. Rodgers told Mike Tomlin. Tomlin says, "You kidding me? Thank you for coming." This was after that brutal field goal miss, the 44-yarder from the Ravens, Tyler Loop. If Loop makes it, then the Ravens are in the playoffs. Yep. He didn't make it wide right. Now the Steelers are in the playoffs. Yeah. Rodgers says, "Thank you for bringing me here." And Tomlin says, "You kidding me? Thanks for coming." That's very polite.
That's very nice.
I don't hear that
in football every now and then.
Rodgers, ever since he left Green Bay, just in case you're wondering, he has not been great.
No.
I would have probably retired and, cemented my legacy. He's made enough money, move on to broadcast or whatever. He's kind of a weird duck, but
a little bit.
Yeah. He made the playoffs thanks to the Baltimore Ravens kicker. Being just a tick off.
Tough. All right.
All right.
Spin away. Here we go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. See what we got. Red, blue, yellow.
Oh, this will be blue.
Bad ice.
Come on, man. That's not your drink.
I've used that.
Give it a cheap liquor.
When somebody has a hangover, man, I guess you got some bad ice last night.
Oh, don't tell me that Chesterkin left the Rangers game against the Mammoth with a lower body injury. It was a collision. Goalkeeper, he took one.
Lower body injury. Is that in the groin area?
That's what normally it is. It's either a knee injury or you take one in the jewels. Let's see. Where does this happen?
Yeah. Ooh. Was it a glancing blow or a direct hit?
I don't know what even happened there. He's got a big pad there. He may have hurt his knee. I think.
Maybe so. Maybe it's a little lower than we think.
Igor Shesterkin, who I don't think is, he's up. Oh, yeah. Knee injury. Got to be it. Oh, Rangers goalie out. The Mammoth, by the way, that's the Utah franchise. That's the Salt Lake City franchise. They've been there very long.
I didn't even know they had an NHL team. You got to be kidding me. Really? Wow.
You got again, don't love mascots that don't have a plural at the end. They've got the Kraken in Seattle. They've got the Mammoth.
The Kraken?
The Kraken.
What is that?
That's a sea monster. But the Mammoth, you got the Jazz and the Mammoth. Come on, man. Get your act together, Salt Lake City. Do what you're supposed to do.
Like
get
the Red Sox and the White Sox.
Give me a break.
What's up with that?
Stanford Cardinal, Crimson Tide. I'm against it. Put an S at the end of those things.
Yeah.
All right.
2 more to go. Let's see what we got. Red and blue on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It looks like it's going to end up on
23.
Is number 23. Wasn't that MJ's number?
That was MJ's number. Miles Garrett with the Cleveland Browns in a forgettable year for Cleveland sets the record. He gets a sack on Saturday against a very disinterested Joe Burrow. Cleveland wins that game, by the way. 23 sacks for Miles Garrett, breaks the record of 22 and a half that was jointly held by Michael Strahan and by J.J. Watt. He is... Yeah, he said he woke up 6:30 game day. He said, "Let's eat and let's talk. We got to talk through this. Just prepare early because there's no way we're going to allow anything in the way of history." So, it didn't look as though Burrow was really trying to get out of the way.
I've seen that before in the NFL where some quarterback will let the guy sack him just so he can get the record.
That's what happened with Strahan when he got the award. But no, Miles Garrett is a great player. Should they trade him to get some help? because he's fantastic.
So.
Nobody else on the team is, unfortunately.
No,
one more to go.
Good. Okay, one more to go here. We got to spin it to make it official. That's how what the rules stipulate. It's the blue panel, and I believe it's a fresh start.
Noted talk show host John Longshore counsels that for Ty Simpson. Oh yeah. Tua lost his starting job late in the year for the Dolphins. He was not very good. Quinn Ewers, a 7th-round pick. He started, I believe, the last 2 games. Ewers was not bad. He was challenging. What is he was disappointed at losing his starting job, but he'd be good with a fresh start next year. Actually, he got benched for the last 3 games. He's just not been good. I think, gosh, I hate to say this, John. I think the repeated concussions have probably taken a toll on him. He's not I don't think anything near the quarterback he was when he was at Alabama.
Who you got around you. I mean,
is
Joe Burrow any good anymore? I mean, he didn't forget how to play quarterback, but I'm not sure he's got any good players around him, particularly as good as he had at LSU. And I think you see that with a lot. I mean, Bryce Young, same way. I mean, I know he got him in there in the playoffs, but they kind of limped in.
Well, they got in because they started to get some players around him. Whenever he first started, I mean, it was like a golf, like a golf course, one pro to a club. That was basically him and nobody else. That's a good point, and that's probably the case with Tua. I'm just thinking that maybe, the damage has been done for all those years playing with a bunch of Humpty Dumptys out there and getting the snot knocked out of him constantly. I don't know that Tua is ever going to be the player he could have been in the NFL, and that's a shame.
Okay, hey, thanks for everybody joining us here today. Of course, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, Travis Ryer on YouTube. Tomorrow, CJ Duncan, Yellow Hammer News will join us. Josh Harris. I don't know. I don't know if Josh has been heard from since last Thursday.
When he uttered the immortal words, I mean, come on. They're Indiana.
Yeah. Could be tough. But we'll be back tomorrow. Looking forward to it. We certainly appreciate you out there on our River Region Straw chat line. Of course, our viewers and listeners throughout the day. We really appreciate folks being able to hop on at their convenience, on their time, which is what this format is all about. We really appreciate it.
Yep, I'll be back again where I am now tomorrow in Jonesboro, Arkansas. John Longshore. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud